The order is my case and then their case. Is anybody not ready? Okay. My value for this debate is morality. My criterion is utilitarianism. Whoever does the greatest good for the greatest number of people should win the debate. Utilitarianism outweighs and calls for probability are infinitely regressive and consequences must come first. Messerly in 2016. Actions and institutions should be judged right or wrong depending upon tendency to promote pleasure or happiness of the greatest number of people. Utility measures the balance of an action's good and bad results. We subtract unhappiness by happiness. Net utility counts everyone's happiness equally. Utilitarianism judge moral actions by consequences. The ends justify the means. It is true that we never know absolutely what will happen as a consequence of our action. Any choices might alter history, but we are only responsible for consequences we can reasonably anticipate. The fact that we can never be absolutely certain of the consequence of an act does not undermine utilitarianism. My first contention in this debate is the chemical DA. First is that autonomous weapons will solve CBRN, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear proliferation. Rabkin and Yu, 2017. Robotics do not threaten massive destruction. Their appeal is precision, greater effectiveness, less damage. New tech may solve challenges, proliferation, allowing nations to disable nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons, which facilitates less risk of contamination. New tech creates weapons of less destruction. CBRN, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear use, risk extinction. Christic in 2017. A single group could improvise a CBRN weapon secretly. Weapons are available to a growing number of dangerous terrorists. Use of nuclear weapons represents a very serious threat. If a terrorist could gain access, it is highly likely it would use it. CBRN weapons are a special horror. Effects can be devastating and indiscriminately. Chemical and biological weapons are attractive. The possibility terrorists might use chemical or biosubstances may increase. The number of perpetrators is increasing. Weapons are invisible, odorless, lethal, readily available, and can be camouflaged. Nuclear, chemical, biological weapons are a trinity of weapons of mass destruction. Society is faced with a threat of apocalyptic attacks. My next contention is the artificial intelligence disadvantage. First is that banning lethal autonomous weapons destroys military research and development on artificial intelligence. This spills over to destroy all future AI innovation. New in 2018. Defense research and development activities have long played a crucial role in innovation. Widely used technologies, defense agencies' investments in AI will be no different should policymakers succumb to baseless fears that military AI research will lead to killer robots. It will set back important AI research. The ban on fully autonomous weapons is not nearly so clean-cut of an issue and would significantly hinder innovation of any fully autonomous system. Rely on huge amounts of R&D. Fear of autonomous weapons engenders apprehension of R&D efforts that could conceivably be used in an autonomous weapons. Concerns overshadow the vast amount of valuable AI research taking place in U.S. defense agencies. AI R&D efforts could generate crucial breakthroughs that would benefit broad swaths of AI applications beyond military ones. Machine learning techniques that could explain themselves. Sabotaging important AI research is counterproductive will harm innovation. This technology is not just about killer robots. AI research and defense can create immeasurable benefits. Next is that artificial intelligence will solve global warming. Vincent in 2019. AI can help with one of the greatest threats facing humanity, climate change. Using AI to monitor deforestation to develop materials that can replace steel and cement, which account for 9% of emissions. AI to model complex systems so we can better prepare for future changes. That AI could be invaluable in mitigating and preventing the worst effects of climate change. Machine learning could help forecast electricity generation and demand, integrate renewable resources into national grids and reduce waste, monitor agricultural emissions and deforestation. AI model changes will help scientists predict extreme weather events, make transportation more efficient, reduce energy usage by 20%, geoengineer a more reflective Earth, find ways to make clouds more reflective. AI could help with this. Lastly, for this contention, warming climate change causes extinction. Any reduction should be prioritized above any impact. Ramathan et al. In 2017. Climate change is an existential threat. With warming of such magnitudes will expose 75% of the world's population to deadly heat stress. 4 degrees Celsius or more will expose more than 7 billion to deadly heat stress and vector-borne diseases. There may still be time to avert catastrophic changes. Policies must be strengthened substantially within the next 5 years. Catastrophic warming to stop warming at 2 degrees Celsius. The time is of the essence. Their case. First, their value criterion. Utilitarianism is the only way to view justice, so you should view our value criterion first in this debate. Lee, 2000. Concept of justice explained in terms of utility. To address the main argument against utilitarianism, social utility governs all moral elements in the notion of justice. Essential elements in justice, violation of another's rights, is also derived from utility. Both elements of justice are based on utility. Justice must be seen as being based on utility. We would win under their framework anyway because AI resolves structural inequalities. This is Maskey in 18. AI could have a multiplier effect in developing countries, improve the livelihood, leveraging AI to improve access to healthcare. With AI, education is more easily accessible. As machine learning advances, we will mitigate poverty, malnutrition, and pollution. Startups are a defining humanitarian approach to building a more sophisticated AI-ready society. Their patriarchy contention. First, patriarchy isn't the root cause of war. Martin, 90. It is too simplistic to say that male violence against women leads to mass warfare. Soldiers in combat but are tender to their families. These connections are more symptoms than causes. Typical military tasks in a highly technological military force include flying a plane, servicing a computer, market servicing a computer. Next is that there's no root cause of patriarchy. Goldberg, 99. An explanation of universality must be parsimonious. Explanations in terms of any single factor other than a psychological fail to explain the host of societies for which a factor does not apply. The racism contention. We can't overcome centuries of racism, well, not in 2K. It is unlikely that policies will have much effect. Race is deeply determined in the modern world. The legacies and centuries of racial oppression have not been overcome. Thank you, and please vote for the negative in today's debate.